the Sportsocracy.
All right, the A-plus mock drafts, AFC North, picking at 17, it's the Cincinnati Bengals. How can they get an A-plus draft here and avoid another disappointing season?
Cincinnati's tough for me because they have very specific needs. I mean, Cincinnati coming into this draft has got to come out of this weekend with an edge, a defensive tackle, a guard, and a safety.
Mm-hmm.
I would like a corner. The first four things I said are musts. Everything else is, hey, if you get around to that, just you should. But there's no, hey, we can pass here because, I mean, you need this to be for starters, if I'm being totally honest. So you can't miss. So to a point, I almost think you have to be safe or absolutely swing for the fences.
Okay.
Because they only have 6 picks. To come out of a draft with four starters in 6 picks is really hard to do. But
So best case scenario.
I've done my best.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just going to lead you up to the first pick here. Best case scenario, who's on the board at 17?
I did this in several different ways. So I did it the first time where they took Gray Zabel at 17 to play guard. Okay. I did not like how that turned out. I did another one where they took Kenny Grant at 17. I did not like how that turned out. Then I did one where they took the edge at 17.
Mm-hmm.
So I went Mike Greene at 17 because I really like how this turned out.
How does he fit in with the Cincinnati Bengals?
In terms of as an edge rusher, the player on the field, I have zero fear of Mike Greene. I pretty well know what he's going to be. He holds up against the run. He can play hand down or hand up, doesn't really matter.
Okay.
And he's going to eviscerate quarterbacks. Go back and watch him at the Senior Bowl and just watch him one-on-one, just obliterate dudes. It was borderline funny at times watching these guys that are going to play in the NFL attempt to block Mike Greene because they had no shot. And it was over and over and over and over again. Then he had that one rep with Josh Connerly where Connerly's playing on the right side, which he had never done before, and he just gets blowed all the way up.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I said blowed up like that on purpose. You can't say, oh, he got blown up. No, he got blowed up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he practically threw him in the air.
For sure. I mean, Mike Greene is that big of a dog that I have no fear of the player he's going to become. I do have a fear of the man he is with all the off-field issues, and I'm not going to lie to you. You better have somebody that watches this kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened there, but if there is credence to that, you better watch him like a hawk. And look, Cincinnati's done a pretty good job of this over the years. They're not as big on the character risk guys now, but I have been told they do not have a canceling grade on Mike Greene. So I believe it was Ryan Fay that said something to me of the level that Cincinnati pushes down character red flag guys. I have been told Mike Greene is not one of those guys for them. So you take that for what it's worth. It could have been a total lie. I took it as the truth because the person said to me, absolutely no reason to lie to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
there was a time where we joked about the Bengals and character issues as much as we did the Raiders and character issues. Right, when they had Vontaze Burfict and Chris Henry was on that team. Like, there were dudes in trouble a lot with Cincinnati. So hopefully Mike Greene won't be the next one.
Also, good point about from Notorious B.I.G. They also drafted Jermaine Burton, who I warned people about for months, and so did I. So they're obviously not completely averse to it, and they took Jermaine Burton on the high side of his range.
Yep.
And I'm talking about from the talent. If he was a choir boy, you took him on the high side of where he belonged talent-wise. So is it possible that they use that as we don't want to get burned again because he did get in trouble this past year? Maybe. But that's not what I'm hearing. So I went Mike Greene here at number 17.
All right, their second-round pick is at 49. Is this the guard?
49, you've got to get the guard. Because if you don't take one here, you're taking a guess. And I love Carson Benson. I love Jackson Slater. I love all of those guys. I can't tell you that they should slot in right off the jump. There is a guy that I can tell you should slate in right off the jump. I'm just going to forewarn you, he's not as good of a run blocker as you want him to be. It's Tyler Booker.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tyler Booker at 49, I think this is his floor. Because he's a good pass pro. His feet are good in pass pro. His hands are good in pass pro. Then he gets into the run game, and he looks, how do I explain this appropriately? You ever read the book of Mice and Men?
Yeah.
And you had the big guy that had the mouse? Didn't he have a mouse for a pet? And he petted it too hard and he broke its neck?
Yeah.
That's kind of Tyler Booker in the run game.
I think it was a dog.
I thought it was a mouse, but it might have been. Yes, Gambit fan said it was a mouse. So he pets it too hard and he kills it. Tyler Booker kind of has the same thing because he's a gigantic dude and he's really strong. The problem is that he wants to kill everybody in the run game. And sometimes that leads to a forward lean that puts him completely out of position, and he just gets toroed.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know that's a thing. But taking him at 49, how good he is in pass pro, that's a risk I'm willing to take. I'm really willing to risk that I can teach him to stop being so aggressive and trying to just use brute strength. I got to teach him some technique.
Okay. At the third round, 81.
Timothy O'Toole, who is the official counsel of the Sportsocracy, said, I believe he kills a dog, a mouse, and the lady, all for that matter. I didn't read the book. Got to be on the test. Did not read the book.
But you watched the movie, right?
The kind of cute girl that was sitting beside me in 10th grade English wrote real big. Anyway.
She had those big bubble letters, didn't
For
she?
sure. She drew hearts over eyes. She was Stephanie, you the real MVP. What else?
Oh, yeah. You could read her college rule paper from across the room.
For sure. She was, and she knew what she was doing. You got me through. You the real MVP. My pick at 81, I got to get either a safety. I got to get something for the secondary. Yes. I wanted to address secondary earlier, but I had two bigger needs. So and I told you, going into this, I either have to know what I'm getting or I have to take a big swing. If I'm taking a big swing at safety in this draft, it's Kevin Winston Jr. Look, this kid would have been a first-round pick, I believe, had he not gotten hurt last year. He was in my top 30 from summer scouting this past year because I thought he was going to be an absolute freak of nature. I thought we were going to be talking about him the way we're talking about Nick Eamon-Warry. Now, he did have the knee injury. He has not been able really to run or do anything in this process. So I don't fully know what you're getting. Reports are good and reports are great, but reports can also be fudged a little.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is about where he fits is in that 80 to 90 to maybe even all the way up to 100 range. But if I'm Cincinnati, this is the risk I'm taking. Because after Kevin Winston, safety gets gross.
Let's go to 119.
Okay, so
Cincinnati Bengals next pick in the fourth round.
This is one of those, there's more than one way to skin this cat.
Mm-hmm.
I have said that I want to find an outside corner to slide Dax Hill into the slot. What if I just draft slot? They seem prone to putting Dax Hill on the outside. So why don't I just draft slot?
Okay.
I went Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State. I love this kid. I'm not 100% sure he will fall this far. The draft gets very slotty in the middle. So you get into a point between about 100 and 200. You have a lot of slot corners. This corner in this draft is so weird. If you want a zone guy, you're basically picking from 1 to 100. If you want a slot, you're basically picking from 101 to 200. And if you want to take a dart throw at a man guy, you're picking from 201 to the end. And they are sectioned off that way for me. So I take the best of them. My slot rankings literally go Jahdae Barron at 1, Jacob Parrish at 2. And so I get that guy right here. And now I'm looking at my secondary going, yeah, I have 3 guys that may be miscast, but I have 3 corners that I really liked. And I got a safety back behind them that can really kind of tie all these things together.
Okay. 153 in the 5th.
Ty Robinson from Nebraska. You know I'm not wild about the tape, but the athletic raw is impressive. That combine workout, no dude that size should move that well. And for me, this is almost Tank, what's the buzzword I'm about to use right here? It starts with
complimentary drafting.
There it is. Complimentary drafting. I take Ty Robinson here, who is a little bit undersized. He's not quite as strong as you would want him to be at times, but he has that first step. Well, I invested a second-round pick in Chris Jenkins last year. Chris Jenkins is a big woolly mammoth that did not move that well last year. So I can pair those two together, and I think they play off each other pretty nicely.
Final pick is at 193 in the 6th.
You're going to hear the name I'm about to say 423 times in the next 14 days. It's Jalen Travis, the offensive tackle from Iowa State.
Okay.
So I've told you that offensive tackle gets Gnarls Barkley at a point.
Yes.
Well, the point where it gets gross is about between the 4 and 5 range. And as I look up and down my board, I don't see a ton of guys at tackle that I feel really good about. I think there are some depth guys that like Logan Brown, Jack Nelson, Johnny Cornelius, Jalen Rivers. There are 2, and Cornelius kind of falls into this too. He's almost like the pivot between. Jalen Travis and Caleb Rogers are the 2 offensive tackles that I see late that I go, you know what? If I've crushed the top 5, I can just take a shot in the dark because I'm playing with house money. I think there's no miss in the first 4 players I took in this class. Mm-hmm. Unless Kevin Winston's knees doesn't hold up. That's really the only risk I took. Jalen Travis is not a risk because he's so late. Man, the upside is 100% there.
6'8". That's
he's
a big
boy.
dude.
He's a BDD.
Yeah. He is definitely that. 6'8", 339.
Yeah.
Jalen
and by the way,
Travis.
he moves like a ballerina. Problem is he needs to never skip another arm day for the rest of his life.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, the Cincinnati Bengals A+ mock draft. Mike Greene, Tyler Booker, the top end of the draft, filling big needs. Don't forget to check out the latest prospect rankings at NFLDraft.net. Take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get to the next team in the AFC North, the Pittsburgh Steelers, picking at 21 first.
I get knocked down, I get back up. The Sportsocracy.